The facts matter.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take a few moments to update you on the news release that came out that we talked about last week on the QAnon murder. I'm going to read this to you instead of putting it on the screen, simply because I don't want this removed from YouTube. And some of the things, wording and that sort of thing that the algorithm picks up from the videos may actually cause a problem. Q beliefs promise of child custody help hang over deadly shooting. Witnesses told authorities that the woman accused of killing Chris Hallett shot him because she said he was conspiring with the government to keep her children from her. I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you. This is NBC News. This came out the 1st of December. And it has a little bit more information than what we were able to find and discuss when we talked about this last week. On November 12th, Neely Petrie Blanchard set out from Pensacola, Florida, on a 300-mile road trip to meet a man she told family members could help her regain custody of her 3 daughters, her family said. Petrie Blanchard, 34 years old, had been engaged in custody battles for more than 10 years, with her mother having recently served as guardian of her twin daughters. In that time, her behavior had become increasingly erratic, according to interviews with her mother and her sister, and she had begun to espouse conspiracy theories about child abuse, including Q. Q is an internet-based conspiracy theory that baselessly claims there is a secret war between President Donald Trump and a cabal of elites who, according to them, abuse children. Her efforts to find a way to regain custody led her to Chris Hallett, the man she drove to see, the family said. In his company, E-Clause Loss Prevention offered online tutorials that encouraged followers to broadly question government authority and often disregard laws altogether. Hallett and Petrie Blanchard met online around 4 years ago, and she became a devotee, even fastening an E-Clause license plate to the back of her car at one point, her family members had said. She often appeared in his live-streamed legal theory sessions. The two also found common ground in Q. On November 15th, authorities found Hallett, 50 years old, dead from multiple gunshot wounds inside his Florida home. 5 days later, the Marion County Sheriff's Office charged Petrie Blanchard with second-degree murder. According to the police report, witnesses told authorities that she had shot Hallett because she said he was conspiring with the government to keep her children from her. "You're hurting my children, you bastard," she said to Hallett the night of the shooting, according to probable cause affidavit NBC News obtained from the sheriff's office. Petrie Blanchard told NBC News from the Marion County Jail a public defender advised her not to discuss any specific details about the night that Hallett was killed. Petrie Blanchard's mother, Susan Blanchard, said she received a call from her daughter on November 15th, shortly after authorities say the shooting took place. The Petrie Blanchard's half-sister, Savannah Hendricks, said she was also on the call in which Petrie Blanchard alluded to allegations of child trafficking. There is no evidence that Hallett was involved in child trafficking, though his purported legal advice sometimes did encourage people to abduct their own children, according to Petrie Blanchard's family. Instead, the circumstances around the shooting echo other acts of violence that have been linked to the Q community, particularly mothers who have tried to regain custody of their children. Hallett is not a licensed lawyer in the state of Florida. Hallett's son and his wife did not respond to a request for comment. Two women in Utah and Colorado who are accused of kidnapping their own children appeared to be motivated by the baseless Q belief that child welfare officials are quote unquote deep state pedophiles, according to court records. Emily Jolly in Salt Lake City, Utah, who was facing a third-degree felony charge for custodial interference across state lines, claimed on Facebook the warrants for her arrest were falsified and denied abducting her son. Cynthia Abkug, the Colorado woman, has pled not guilty to second-degree kidnapping. Both cases are still pending. The Daily Beast has reported the E-Clause philosophy, a fringe legal theory that encourages followers to broadly question government authority and often disregard laws altogether, may have inspired several other non-custodial parents to take the law into their own hands. Officials say Petrie Blanchard fled to Georgia after the killing and invoked Hallett's sovereign citizen teachings when they arrested her the morning after the shooting. She implied that the laws of the United States didn't apply to her because of her beliefs in the sovereign nation, that we shouldn't arrest her, Lowndes, I'm not sure I pronounced that right again, but the sheriff's department in Ashley Polk said. Of course that doesn't work too well. Petrie Blanchard's family said they believe Hallett's death may have been preventable had she consented to mental health treatment and not been released on bail from a separate criminal charge. Petrie Blanchard had been out on bond at the time Hallett was shot after allegedly abducting her twin daughters, 8 from their grandmother, Susan Blanchard, in March. A Kentucky grand jury recently indicted Petrie Blanchard on kidnapping charges stemming from the alleged abduction. Blanchard had legal custody of the twins at the time. Petrie Blanchard said she was placed on suicide watch while in custody at Marion County Jail, although she's since been released into the general population. According to the Marion County Clerk of Courts, she will be arraigned on the second-degree murder charge December 22nd. They knew she was mentally unstable, Hendricks said of her half-sister, and then something horrible has happened, and now she's gone forever. For those of you that don't know, E-Clause is one of the groups that I was investigating back a couple of years ago, and I can attest to the fact that this man fancied himself to be basically a cult leader. Every one of his amateur legal theories was incorrect and cherry-picked, like every other sovereign citizen that we watch do this. This is just an example of the amount of damage that can be done when disinformation continues to flow. And it's flowing big time right now. Unfortunately, there will be more like this to come, because they don't seem to care to stop. The disinformation that's on social media is such a big problem that now people are paying the price with their lives. Unfortunately, the only thing that we can do is continue to put the truth and the factual information out in front of people and hope that they stop long enough to look at it to make them question themselves before picking up a weapon and doing something as heinous as this. I just wanted to catch you guys up on this. The link will be in the description for those of you that would like to read it for yourselves, and I will continue to update you on anything else that happens to come up with regards to this case as quickly as I can. Let me apologize for my voice being more raspy than normal this evening. I am having some asthma. We've had some big temperature swoops over the last couple days, and that always gives me some trouble. I'm going to be taking the rest of the week, Friday, tomorrow, and the rest of the weekend off to try to get that under control. And I'm going to see everybody again on Monday. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Please be careful when you're out Christmas shopping. Wear your masks. Take care of yourself. Social distance. It's worth it. You're protecting yourself and others. And please, please stay safe. Bye-bye.